about their chances this afternoon. Of course, Lizat's been down to Sydney in the Golden Eagle, ran really well. They took it to the Steward's room, couldn't quite get it to go his way, but got a lot of pressure in that race, I thought.
Probably take him in reverse order. Lizat, first of all, for Jerome Renier, brilliant young trainer, has come a long way in a very short space of time. The question for me with Lizat is he really a miler? He's a very fast horse. Does he really get it? And was he just running out of gas in the closing stages of the Golden Eagle? If you do believe he stays, then he's got a great chance on form, and Jerome still thinks he's in good form. Docklands I'm interested in, but I worry they're not going to go a strong enough gallop for him. He's been running over too far in Australia, over 1.25 miles, and I don't think he really got the distance. Blinkers on today might help him sit a little bit handier than he normally does. And it's really difficult to know what to expect of Ramadan. First run for James Ferguson, but Lizat's owner, Nurlan Bizikov, used to own this horse, and he's probably kept the right one.
Okay, so runners are coming into the parade ring here. Of course, Lizat trained by Jerome Renier. He's been here before. Christian Demuro takes the ride. A big crowd in anticipation here for the 2024 Hong Kong Mile at Jenny and Soul Rush, the first of them. I think you can definitely make a strong case for him that he is in better form here this time round than he was last season.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, he's going to need a little bit of luck to go his way from gate number 10, but he looks fantastic in his coat. He's a very strong entire, this guy. He's a 6-year-old. He did just lash out before. He's feeling quite good about himself, so hopefully they'll keep him under control. He, you know, because he's an entire, he's a solid body type, with big chest on him as well. Not overly tall, but yeah, just feeling a few nerves here. But he's well.
Voyage Bubble, who's got such solid claims, gets James McDonald as well, ran a terrific race in this last year. The only two disappointing efforts on his dance card are when he travelled outside Hong Kong, but even in Dubai he was very unlucky when he tried the 9 furlongs of the Dubai turf. He's got to be a big player.
Look, he does. His coat's gone a little bit off since the last time I saw him. He's gone quite wintry, and it's perhaps even a shade dull. It's not normally what I'm used to seeing with this horse. He normally looks immaculate, so that's just a little bit of a negative. Apart from that, he's a beautiful type. He's got plenty of strength in all the right places. Walk-wise, in his tiny little loosen up in front as well, and I've noted that this campaign with him. So for me, I've probably got him more as a place chance.
And Tino Jenny was a terrific winner down in Melbourne, maybe against some perceived track bias there with Blake Shin, but he was a very strong winner at Caulfield, comes here in some very good form.
Bandaged around his fetlock joints, this horse. He's not overly tall by any means. Beautiful shine to his coat. He looks immaculate in that respect. He does look particularly fit. I don't think he's a horse that would carry much excess condition anyway, but he does walk out nice and freely too. So he's in pretty good shape.
Good old Beauty Eternals. Been here a few times before. A standing dish. Gets on so well with Zach Purton. To my eye, Jenny looks pretty good.
Yeah, look, he's got a nice attitude. His biggest issue is getting around to the barriers in one piece, because he plays up doing that. But here in the parade, he's good. He's relaxed, a little bit of a winter coat on him, but he's still got a healthy shine to it. He does walk out nice and freely, obviously in the stable of John Size. Been a while since we've seen the best from him, but, well, it was 3 starts ago, I should say, last campaign. But he's looking good, so maybe a place chance.
The earplugs are in. They were in for a recent barrier trial. Beauty Joy now, where Jenny never sort of fronts up in these big affairs. He's there or thereabouts without sort of getting too carried away, Beauty Joy.
Well, luckily he doesn't kick, because Galaxy Patch just ran right up behind him there. Now, Beauty Joy never carries any excess condition. If you were seeing him for the first time, you would think that he needs a good feed, but that is just him. He's been a great performer for his connections. He's won over $28 million, and he looks the same. He looks fit and healthy and relaxed.
Well, Jenny, Galaxy Patch clearly wants to get on with it. Should we worry about this?
I'd be a little worried about it. Look, you know, he's done this on occasions, and he's also played up quite badly behind the gates, so he's one to definitely keep an eye on in that respect. He's a horse that's got loads of raw talent. I don't think we've seen the absolute best of him at this stage of his career. I'm just hoping the boys can keep him under control. Now he's a bit of an angular type of horse. I've described him before as a bit of a coat hanger type. There's nothing overly special about him. He's got plenty of length about him. Looks great in his coat. He looks particularly fit. They've settled him down now, so hopefully if he keeps like this, he might be able to conduct himself well in the race. On looks, the way he's behaving or has behaved, I'm going to have him more as a place chance.
Docklands, Jenny's over 80-1 comes out of the race, of course, at Flemington behind Via Sistina.
Yeah, so this horse is sort of a 4-year-old colt, so sort of been deep-ended a little bit with his racing, but he's done a pretty good job. He's bandaged, it's not bandaged, he's been clipped out. He's behaving himself very nicely. He looks fit enough. A little bit of a pronounced knee action on him, but he does look very fit and he's got a good attitude, so maybe a place chance for him.
Here's Happy Together in shot now. This is a horse who I think is pretty heavily pace contingent. I think he'll need them to go hard and hope that the race peels away up front, and that's not guaranteed, Jenny. I thought he looked well, though.
Well, he's a really stocky, strong-bodied horse, this guy. Always has been. A little bit more on his toes than normal. He doesn't normally do this, so, well, he's settled back down again now, which is good. He's bandaged on those bumpers. He's all about strength, Happy Together, and he's been really good to his connections as well. $17 million he's won in prize money. Yeah, look, settled back down again. Another one I could leave on a place line as far as looks go.
Red Lion, of course, ran second in the Champions Mile back in April. Jenny, of course, owned by Ronald R. Cully, who, of course, had Red Kiddo win the Vase in 2012.
Yeah, we wish Ronald and Joanna all the very best with their horses here. Red Lion, another one trained by John Size. Now, he's a little fella, so I really need to get close and have a good look at him. He's looking very healthy with his coat. Boys have got him well and truly under control. He lacks a little bit of size, or a little bit of scope more than size. He's about your average size, but he looks healthy and he's walking out okay by his standards. He just needs a little loosen up in front.
The next one is Chan Chain Glory, Jenny. Looks very fit, and I'm imagining Karis Teaton's going to drive forward from that inside berth.
Yeah, look, I've got plenty of time for this horse. He's probably just below the top, horses that we have, but he can give a good fight in some of his races, and he's got a fantastic attitude, always has. Very athletic, tall horse, walks out nice and smoothly, not a care in the world, and looks particularly fit, so he is well.
We need 11 and 12, please, Jenny. Taj Dragon, hard to have at a mile, and Jantar Manta with all the wraps coming out of Japan. He's a 9-1 shot at the moment.
Yeah, Taj Dragon is looking good. He's only small. He's very small, but he's very fluent in his walking action and really quite healthy in his coat. He's been in here quite some time and kept his cool. Jantar Manta has behaved pretty well. He's keen and eager with his handlers, but he hasn't done much wrong. Strong-bodied and a really good shoulder on him as well, so he looks good. Do I need to go on there?
No, we've just had, of course, Jantar Manta, and the next runner, Nick, we've got is Lizette for Jerome Renier.
Yeah, first time Christian Jamiro has ridden this horse. As I said, he's come a very long way in a very short space of time, and it's a question of whether he's got one final hurrah this season. He's a young horse with plenty to offer, I think, next year. Very impressed with how relaxed he is, though, Jenny.
Yeah, now, this is the first time I've laid eyes on him. He's just about to come around this corner, so I'll get a better look. I like the colour coordination with his trainer. He's got a really strong shoulder on him. He's only a 3-year-old. He's a lovely athletic horse. He's got a great way about him. Walks out nice and freely too. He looks good. I would certainly give him consideration.
And that last horse we've got on screen is Ramadan Jenny. He's not a big imposing specimen, only 992 pounds, of course, now raced by Yulong Mr. Zhang, and he is going to stay here with Mark Newnham after today. He's a greater than 50-1 shot.
Well, the big query with him is the dry track that we have, because all his racing has been on rain affected. But who knows, he might even be better. He looks nice and healthy. He does walk out freely enough. Neat type of horse. Attitude is good, looks fit enough. Actually parades really quite nicely. So I'm going to respect him too.
Jantar Manta, the best turned out horse here, so well done to Connections with that. Let's head over to Nick Child, who's standing by with the trainer of Lizette. It's Jerome Renier.
Yes, thank you very much, Tom. Pleased to say Jerome Renier has joined me here. He saddles Lizette for the Hong Kong Mile this year. Jerome, great to see you and your horse here, and a Group 1 winner of the Morris de Geese. You must be excited.
Yeah, sure. No, it's very good to be here today after a long journey in Australia, in Sydney, where Lazat ran a hell of a race. We are very happy with the way he ran and the way he recovered from this race. And we always thought that was a good move to make a stop in Hong Kong on the way back if he was feeling well, and we're very happy with him in the morning. He looks great today, and we're quite hopeful. Obviously, Christian is going to ride him for the first time, and he's going to run over 1 mile for the first time as well. He's running in a race that Europeans haven't been so successful. The 3-year-olds haven't been so successful either. So we are totally against the odds, but we never know what can happen. Huh?
Just to counteract that, a 3-year-old did win it, I think, in 2019, so it's not unheard of. Christian, of course, has been announced as a new jockey for Norland Bizakov, so going forward, obviously, he'll be sporting these colours a bit more often.
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, Christian rides quite often back in France for me, and we get on really well together, and I'm very happy to see him on board today.
Jerome, obviously, you'll be a familiar name to many, perhaps not to so many in here in Hong Kong, but horses like Royal Julius, Factor Chevelle, you're never afraid to travel them.
No, sure, and Scaletti came here a few years ago as well. Wasn't so lucky, but you have to give it a go. 100% of winners have given a go, so that's why we're here today. Try to step on the first step of the podium, and hopefully he will be able to do a 1 mile, and the race program next year as a 4-year-old will be easier to make up.
Well, wish you very, very best of luck here, and I'll let you go and get to your vantage point to watch the race. Thanks for chatting to us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick, and thank you to Jerome for giving us his time here on the telecast. Ginny, a fine assembled here for the mile and open field. Who's on top from the paddock?
Well, that horse we just were talking about, number 13, Lizette, arguably should be unbeaten. Gee, he looks fantastic. He really does. Really fit. Behaved himself nicely. So I've got him on top. Second, I've got Chang Cheng Glory. I thought he presented nicely. Now, he's likely to go forward. I'm not sure that he's quite good enough, but he looks so relaxed. He's walking out really freely. Couldn't fault him. I thought next best was the 12, the Japanese horse in Janto Manta. He's quite a nice individual. And of the rest, well, probably Soul Rush. I was thinking about Ramadan. Nothing wrong with him either, but Soul Rush I quite like on form. He was a little bit on his toes here and there, but he looks really healthy and strong. So I've gone 13, 10, 12 and 1.
Thank you, Jenny. Upstairs to you, Mark, for your thoughts here on the third of our Group 1s today.
With the 2, Tom Voyage Bubble without Golden 60 in the race. His two runs back this time in have been so good. The second without luck in the Sha Tin Trophy, and then he beat them on their merits in the Jockey Club Mile. He's a Group 1 Stewards Cup winner over the distance. He's won 4 from 10 over the 1600. Soul Rush for Japan goes in for second. Group 1 Mile Championship winner last time. Fuji Stakes Group 2 placed at 2 runs ago. He's just got group form right throughout all of his starts, and he's been competitive in all of them. Going to give the Australian a chance here, and Tino, if he jumps. Second in the Champions Mile last time at Flemington behind Mr. Brightside. Group 1 Toorak Handicap winner 2 starts ago by a big space. Crafty man on board 2 in Blake Shen. And number 12, Genta Manta in for 4th, Paul, and you're going to make an even stronger case for the Japanese runner.
Yeah, look, he's only had 6 starts. He's a 2-time Group 1 winner in Japan. He's come out here and he seems to have settled in really nice. He hasn't run for a while. That's the only query, 6 months or so. But in saying that, he's looked good in his track work, and I think he's a really good bet at 10 and 3.1, Japanese horse. So I've got him on top to beat the favourite, Voyage Bubble. He's the best of the locals, I think. The 13, Lizat's going to be right on the pace, and he's another one that's only been beaten once in his whole career. And then the 6, Galaxy Patch. Hopefully he's settled down a little bit there out the back. But do like the 10. The 12, Janta Manta at the price, 10 and 3.1. So 12, 2, 13 and 6 for me.
Yeah, I'm with the Soul Rush here. I didn't find much between him and also with Jantar Manta, but his win in the Mile Championship I thought was very solid coming into this. A lot of respect for a Voyage Bubble, who is the favourite at 2.7, so the money continues to come for him. And also with that horse there on screen, but he got pretty wound up in the yard, did Galaxy Patch. He looks happier out there now. So 1, 12, 2 and 6. A recap of Nick Child's numbers, 13, 12, 2 and 6. Jenny Ann from the paddock.
Yeah, 13 on top for me as well. Lizat, I thought he paraded beautifully. The 10 goes in. That is Chang Cheng Glory, one for the local team. I thought number 12 paraded well, Janto Manta. I quite like him. He's a young horse. There should be more upside to him. Everyone's been talking him up this week. And number 1, Soul Rush. He was a little bit on his toes here and there. very strong-bodied horse coming in with really good form. There he is on screen. He looks terrific. So 13, 10, 12 and 1. Nick, who do you fancy?
I like Soul Rush here. I thought he was the most solid option. I think he's a better horse than he was when he came here 12 months ago, more mature, and you can see why. Lovely, big, robust, beautiful-looking horse. He looks on great terms with himself. He just has to run well. There are others, I think, who've got potential to be better still, but they're either at an early stage of their career, in the form of Lazat, and he's had a busy season, or they've got little question marks. Galaxy Patch has to defy Gate 14, and I know Golden 60 did it last year, and Vince has described this horse as the heir apparent, but he'll need to be.
Oh, he will need to be, certainly, Jenny. And today he's put on a little bit of weight, but got really stood up here. He was the one that was taking his Marfoos for a walk.
Yeah, well, not the first time I've seen it either, Tom. So that's the thing about this horse, whether or not, you know, he's obviously not an easy horse to handle. Very angular. You've got to look at him there. Is that the first time you've seen him?
First time I've seen him in the flesh, and I was really interested to hear what you were saying. It seems as though he ought to be a better horse next year, because he just hasn't filled the frame. Maybe he never will, but he hasn't yet.
Yeah, I wonder whether he will. Look, he looks great in his coat, I've got to say. And because he never carries much excess condition, and the shape of him, he never looks like he's carrying weight. So he gave us so much excitement in the early part of his career. We were hoping he'd go to that next level. So I'm really interested to see what we get from him today.
Antino's on an international rating of 118. Can you see him figuring here at all, Nick? I know he brings some sound enough form on this, but I'm not totally convinced here today about him.
You might know your fate after a stride or two, mightn't you? Because if he gets too far back, then he'll struggle. I think this is such a contentious race that he's not going to want to give himself too much traffic to get through. It'll be very interesting to see how he does get on if he's able to run his race, with a point at a Mr. Brightside coming here in April, potentially. The horse he was just behind at Flemington last time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Paul, you're all over the pace influences here. Surely they can't go forward with Beauty Eternal in this race with a few other options in it as well.
Well, look, he'd raced best when he does go forward, Beauty Eternal. I think Lazat looks like the main placemaker, and that's where all the money's coming at, 15 and 4.3. He tried to lead all the way over 1,500 in the Golden Eagle, and he steps up to 1,600. The other one is obviously Chang Cheng Glory. Voyage Bubbles never far away. Red Lions drawn wide. He goes forward. He might be trapped a little bit wide. But, yeah, Beauty Eternal, they've got options, but everyone thought he was going to go back when he won his big race, and he did go forward and lead. It's just Lazat's in the race to make it harder for him.
Voyage Bubble, Nicky went to Japan, Yasuda Kenin, things didn't go right there, wide draw, everything. You were in Dubai when he was over there in the race on the turf there. He was lucky not to get put over the fence that night.
Oh, I fancied him like mad in Dubai, and he was desperately unlucky. And he might not quite have got the distance either, but this should suit him. And I'm just mindful of Jenny's comments a few moments ago that he doesn't really look great.
His coat, well, look, body-wise he's okay, but his coat's just gone off a little bit at the moment, so I'm not sure if that's going to make a big difference to his actual performance. Another one I wanted to ask you about, though, Nick, was Ramadan, because I nearly put him in. I'm wondering whether I should have, because he actually looked really good.
Changed hands for €1.5 million. Going to stay here, as Tom was saying, with Mark Noonan, bought by Mr. Zhang Yulong Farms. They've been so acquisitive across the globe in recent weeks. Big money spent at the sales in Newmarket last week as well. Ramadan's a horse who's got some good solid group race form in France, including form that ties in with one or two of these, but you would have thought the ground would be a little lively for him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really interested in him as a prospect for Hong Kong, because they clearly think he'll go well here.
Yeah, look, he really hasn't tried it, has he?
No.
And so who knows, he might even be better, but he's 55 to 1, so just a little bit of interest on him.
Dockland's coming into this, of course. He's got great form. Via Sistina, City of Troy, Sharon as well.
Yeah.
If I told you at the start of the day you were going to get 94 to 1 about
insane.
Docklands.
It is insane, because you've got the other angle, which is, could Blinkers ginger him up to the extent the connections want to? Because you'd think really at a mile he wants them to go very hard, but he hasn't been getting home over a mile and a quarter in Australia, and maybe drop back in trip with the blinkers on. That's going to bring about the sort of Docklands that we saw running up behind Sharon and the Queen Anne. And that's form that ought to be good enough to see him competing on the international stage.
And he needs to break cleanly as well, because that's what he didn't do at Flemington last start. Of course, Docklands. Trackside play, Paul?
Yeah, around the 2, 12 and 13. So Voyage Bubble, the favourite, with Genta Manta, and the one all the money's coming for Lazat.
in a race that's not clear, cut and dry by any stretch?
Look, I'm not. There's a lot of local money that would be on him, and he is a very good horse when he's 100% right, so I'm not surprised.
He's at 2.6 currently in the world pool as runners continue to load away. There's a lot of money coming for number 13, and that, of course, is Lizette. He's now gone brown on a win in place line at 10-1 and at 3s for a place. This is the third of the Group 1s here at Sha Tin on HKIR 2024, part of the Turf World Championships, and Mark McNamara is your man to call them home.
Thank you, Tom. We wait for Ching Ching Glory to come forward, and he will be the last. They'll be ready for the mile. A race that Hong Kong has had such great record in recent times. There's green on the board everywhere, but they're ready. Who's this year's King of the Mile? We'll know soon because they're racing. Lazat missed it by a length, Antino missed it by 1, and Galaxy Patch is going to drag straight back to last from 14. At the other end, it's Voyage Bubble, Beauty Eternal and Gentar Mantar between them. Red Lion fourth, Lazat's a little bit wider, and then came Cheng Cheng Glory from Happy Together. Soul Rush is following Lazat from Antino. Then came Ramadan and Docklands. There's a line of 4 there. A length and a half to Taj Dragon, Beauty Joy and Galaxy Patch. Voyage Bubble as Beauty Eternal 3 wide looks to go right on with it as they reach the 1,000-metre mark, and Beauty Eternal takes it up. Gentar Mantar third, Cheng Cheng Glory is fourth, and fifth is Happy Together. 3 wide Red Lion from Docklands, Lazat 3 wide following Red Lion. Then came Ramadan. Next is Taj Dragon from Antino, Soul Rush, Galaxy Patch, and a length away last of all is Beauty Joy. Beauty Eternal the leader though, half a length over Voyage Bubble. Gentar Mantar's doing it tough, 3 wide, and Cheng Cheng Glory's had a good trip. He's now fourth on the rail from Happy Together. Red Lion, Lazat, Docklands, Taj Dragon and Antino. Beauty Eternal, Voyage Bubble square off in the lead. 3 lengths to Cheng Cheng Glory. Then came Red Lion, Happy Together and Soul Rush. Voyage Bubble is the leader. He's gone clear of Beauty Eternal. 2 lengths then to Soul Rush. Cheng Cheng Glory. It's Voyage Bubble the leader. He's 3 in front over Beauty Eternal, Soul Rush and Beauty Joy. Voyage Bubble's going to see it out, and he's going to be the King of the Mile. Voyage Bubble has beaten Soul Rush, Beauty Joy, Cheng Cheng Glory, Galaxy Patch. Then came Happy Together, Red Lion, Lazat, Beauty Eternal, Taj Dragon, Docklands, Antino, Gentar Mantar, and last in Ramadan. Voyage Bubble, James McDonald and Ricky Yu at 2.6 and 1.3. Could be a very big 45 minutes for J-Mac. There's one done. Romantic Warrior. He's next. Mind you, this will be the biggest presentation of the day, possibly of the year in the world. This horse has 3 million owners and counting. Voyage Bubble beats Soul Rush, Joe Moreira second at 1.6, and Beauty Joy number 5. Brenton Avdulla at 15 for third in front of Cheng Cheng Glory, and Beauty Eternal kept on. Galaxy Patch flew home. He began well. He was always on the pace. And without a horse like Golden 60 now, he can truly shine at 1,600 metres. And Ricky Yu has just won his 8th race with Voyage Bubble. And James McDonald has nursed him home. They were coming. Soul Rush from a mile back. He's run him to a length. They've gone 133.34. It's about half a second inside standard. Beauty Joy has made up many, many lengths, and then there is a line of them. It's a rather nonchalant-looking team there, but here's Nick with James McDonald.
Thank you very much, Mark. Yeah, James McDonald with a beaming smile on his face, and rightly so. That's a nice way to set up the Cup, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. He's a great horse on his own right. And, geez, he felt excellent going to the gates today. He was really on the job, and credit to Ricky and his team. They've prepped him up beautifully.
And as you say, in his own right, this is a proper Group 1 horse, isn't he?
Oh, mate, he's a fair dinkum one, and that's a very Aussie slang, isn't it? But he just gives us all, you know, and very big heart. He's very uncomplicated. He puts himself in the race, which it's great for Hong Kong. They're dominating. Let's go. One more.
Indeed. Well, you've got plenty of owners to go and see as well. Enjoy it, James.
Cheers.
James McDonald. Voyage Bubble is now a 2-time Group 1 winner here in Hong Kong.
There's green on the board everywhere, but they're ready. Who's this year's King of the Mile? We'll know soon because they're racing. Lazat missed it by a length, Antino missed it by 1, and Galaxy Patch is going to drag straight back to last from 14. At the other end, it's Voyage Bubble, Beauty Eternal and Gentar Mantar between them. Red Lion fourth, Lazat's a little bit wider, and then came Cheng Cheng Glory from Happy Together. Soul Rush is following Lazat from Antino. Then came Ramadan and Docklands. There's a line of 4 there. A length and a half to Taj Dragon, Beauty Joy and Galaxy Patch. Voyage Bubble as Beauty Eternal 3 wide looks to go right on with it as they reach the 1,000-metre mark, and Beauty Eternal takes it up. Gentar Mantar third, Cheng Cheng Glory is fourth, and fifth is Happy Together. 3 wide Red Lion from Docklands, Lazat 3 wide following Red Lion. Then came Ramadan. Next is Taj Dragon from Antino, Soul Rush, Galaxy Patch, and a length away last of all is Beauty Joy. Beauty Eternal the leader though, half a length over Voyage Bubble. Gentar Mantar's doing it tough, 3 wide, and Cheng Cheng Glory's had a good trip. He's now fourth on the rail from Happy Together. Red Lion, Lazat, Docklands, Taj Dragon and Antino. Beauty Eternal, Voyage Bubble square off in the lead. 3 lengths to Cheng Cheng Glory. Then came Red Lion, Happy Together and Soul Rush. Voyage Bubble is the leader. He's gone clear of Beauty Eternal. 2 lengths then to Soul Rush. Cheng Cheng Glory. It's Voyage Bubble the leader. He's 3 in front over Beauty Eternal, Soul Rush and Beauty Joy. Voyage Bubble's going to see it out, and he's going to be the king of the mile. Voyage Bubble.
2:15 and 10, the numbers 133.34, a length and a quarter by half a length there, Paul, with the market confidence around the favourite very strong. He's prevailed for J-Mac and Ricky Yu.
Yeah, great ride there for James McDonald. Got the horse in a lovely position just behind the pace there, and the horse did the rest and won really nicely. Soul Rush, he got well back. It was a good run from him from barrier 10. He finished off nicely as well. And Beauty Joy can pop up at sort of big prices. He's over 15 a place when we read out the dividend shortly. He was over 100 to 1, Beauty Joy, so he definitely outran his odds there, finishing off really nicely into third position. As we see James McDonald weigh in, we'll get those dividends for you. 26 and 13, 16 about Soul Rush, 154.50 Beauty Joy. Vanilla 1 and 2, 61. Forecast 2 and 1, 120. Trio 125, 1300. Test 215, 3,992. And another win for Hong Kong.
Yeah, well done to Ricky Yu and the team there. Fantastic effort. And James McDonald, well, he's got a big one coming up in the next as well with Romantic Warrior. But this horse has been fantastic for his connections, Voyage Bubble. That brings up his 8th win here, and you know, he's a Derby winner. He's been taken forward, he's been taken back. He jumped beautifully here today, Nick. So fantastic performance from James as well as the horse.
Tactical versatility in the horse and tactical mastery from the rider. There was a lovely piece, the World Horse Racing film with Oisin Murphy earlier in the week, where he was asked to list the key strengths of all the best riders in the world. He said Ryan Moore was the strongest and so on, and he was asked who was the best tactician, and without hesitation he said James McDonald. We've seen it so many times. He's a wonderful judge of speed, but he had the horse here with the tools to be able to get him in the right slot, which was more than could be said for Soul Rush, who finished off from a pretty unpromising position. And you're spot on, he is such a talented horse, Soul Rush. He's got to be winning more Group and Grade 1s.
I would think so, yeah. Look, he's done it really well today. He was a bit wide in the early stages, taken well back, had to make up that ground wide on the turn, finished off so strongly. It was a superb effort from him too. But, you know, a good winning margin by the winner as well,
Yeah.
1 1/4 lengths.
These Japanese horses, they're running out of time for 2024, the calendar year. 57, I think, coming into today's meeting. They've competed in Group 1 races around the world. They've not won one yet. They've got one more opportunity.
And it's fascinating, isn't it? Because they'd had such a good time of it between sort of 2019 and 2023. Virtually every single one in all these big races this year has been massively overbet. So the fingers have been burned from here to California as regards the Japanese international horses this season. But, as you say, they've got strong representation in the Cup.
Yeah, Tastiera and, of course, Liberty Island there. Paul, your hope in the race, Jantar Manda 3 wide, no cover up on the pace, and then got knocked over in the straight too.
Yeah, exactly. So look, a complete, and he hadn't run for a while, so that obviously told, I think, so a bit of a forgive for that. But I think keep an eye on him. hopefully he'll come back next year as an older horse and have a really good season in Japan. So, look, he's definitely one for the future.
Horrible watch for Lazat fans in that race.
Oh, yeah. I think he raced as though he'd had enough for the year. To me, he was just a little keen, a bit rank. He had no cover, and he was always setting himself against Christian Demuro. Don't forget the first time Demuro had ridden him. He's a great jockey, but sometimes horses take a little bit of knowing. He's done amazingly well to win a Group 1 so young, go to Australia, run such a big race in the Golden Eagle, come here, regroup, come back next year. And Docklands actually slid around the inside quite nicely in the blinkers, but he got no run up the straight.
And that sort of race for Lazat at Rose Hill in the Golden Eagle, Jenny, and it was a tough run. It could have just bottomed him out. He's travelled here. It's been a big ask.
Well, he is only a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, he's about to turn 4, but, you know, for a 3-year-old, it's a big ask, that travelling. And as you say, it was a really tough run last time. He hasn't disgraced by any means. But, yes, I think next year we'll see the very best of him.
We haven't talked about Chang Ching Glory yet. Barrier number 1, he's just an iron horse. Jenny runs in the big races here in Hong Kong. Not quite at that sort of top echelon, but he's always very, very consistent. Karras gave him a lovely spin around.
Yeah, he certainly did. Well, he drew gate 1, so he got a really cushy run, didn't he? I'm not sure whether or not he got the breaks when he needed them, but we'll have a look at that on the replay. But he's finished very honest, another honest performance from him. That's what he is.
What about the Quox horses, the beauties? Joy and Eternal. I mean, 2 splendid animals, 14 years between them. They turn up every time and give it a go every time.
Beauty Joy. Look, there's nothing of him, and he's always had that really light mouth. He's been a very difficult horse in the past. He's got a bit better as he's got older, but he continues to pick up good price.
各位來賓，浪琴香港一哩錦標頒獎儀式現在開始。
Ladies and gentlemen, the Longines Hong Kong Mile Trophy Presentation Ceremony will now commence.
Ladies and gentlemen, what another fabulous win for our home team, Hong Kong, China. Congratulations to winning horse Voyage Bubble, representing Hong Kong, China, winning the Longines Hong Kong Mile. Let's hear it for our winning horse. 浪琴香港一哩錦標嘅得主已經誕生啦，係由嚟自中國香港嘅澳遊氣泡勝出㗎，恭喜晒 ！Now I'd like to invite our club's chairman, Mr. Michael Lee, to present the Longines Hong Kong Mile Trophy and bronze horse statuette to our winning owner, Sunshine and Moonlight Syndicate of winning horse Voyage Bubble。我哋香港賽馬會主席利子厚先生現正係將我哋嘅獎杯頒發俾我哋勝出頭馬澳遊氣泡嘅馬主日月輝煌賽馬團體嘅，我哋有請程生接受㗎，恭喜晒！繼續我哋係有請主席咧就將駿馬銅像咧就係頒發俾我哋嘅馬主代表嘅。And also our bronze horse statuette to our winning owner, Sunshine and Moonlight Syndicate。Chairman, please also present a bronze horse statuette to our winning trainer, Ricky Yale。我哋本會主席而家將駿馬銅像頒發俾我哋勝出頭馬嘅練馬師姚本輝。And also to our winning jockey, James McDonald, also 2024 Longines World's Best Jockey。當然唔少得我哋嘅勝出騎師麥道朗。Now let's invite Mr. Matthias Breschen, CEO of Longines, to present Longines watches to our winning owner, 而家我哋浪琴行政總監嘅 Steward 先生咧，就將一隻好靚嘅浪琴錶致送俾我哋勝出頭馬嘅馬主，我哋有姜生代表接受嘅。And also our trainer， 我哋再一次有請我哋嘅勝出練馬師姚本輝先生。And of course our winning jockey， 同埋我哋勝出騎師麥道朗嘅 James McDonald。Another one to add to his collection. Let's look to the front for a photo. Congratulations once again to all winning parties. Thank you so much, Mr. Brescian and Chairman. I'd like to invite all our guests to remain where you are for a group photo. 我哋有請各位留一留步，望一望我哋前方，我哋嘅傳媒朋友同埋我哋嘅大會攝影師 right at the front for this wonderful group photo.On this very momentous occasion. Huge congratulations! Please remain where you are. Now I'd like to invite everyone to remain standing and remove your hats for the national anthem of the winning country, China. 跟住落嚟，我哋有請香港警察樂隊為我哋演奏勝出頭馬所代表國家中國嘅國歌。有請各位起立並隨舞。現在奏國歌。Thank you very much. Congratulations once again to Voyage Bubble. 多謝晒咁多位。Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the presentation. Today's featured race, Longines Hong Kong Cup, will start shortly. Don't miss it. And see you at the trophy presentation later. 浪琴香港一哩錦標嘅頒獎儀式已經係圓滿結束，而全日嘅焦點賽事浪琴香港盃即將舉行，大家千祈唔好錯過。
And here we go, we can see Jockey Cam with Zach Purton in the bottom corner as well with the Beauty Eternal who goes forward here. You can see Galaxy Patch towards the back shortly after, Nick.
Yeah, Galaxy Patch just had to take his medicine, Vincent, right from the outset. The other point to note is that the horse we thought might make the running here, the pink colours on the inside, just broke a step slowly.
Chang
Glory, yeah.
We've got an objection coming through as well. That is a very late objection that's just come through on the semaphore board here at Sha Tin from the stewards. So there is an inquiry. We can't tell you what it is at this point yet, but that has just popped up on the screen now. We'll see what we can pick up in the patrol here. But Beauty Eternal's gone forward. Voyage Bubble, Jantar Manda shortly to be left, 3 wide, no cover. Red Line's out about 4 wide around right there as well. You've got Happy Together, Chang Glory, Docklands. Lazat's had a real tough run. He's around Ramadan.
Interesting, wasn't it, that James McDonald didn't want any piece of the fence?
No.
He could have had it because Chang Glory was further back than we thought. He obviously didn't think that Beauty Eternal was the right horse to take him far enough into the race, Jenny.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the horse hasn't actually been racing that well, but he's stuck on reasonably well today. He's only just missed one of the minor placings there. But as they go into the straight, you can see that Voyage Bubble is just travelling along beautifully here. Beauty Eternal's putting up a little bit of fight. Here's a little bit of interference here on the outside with Soul Rush. And the horse on his inside.
And there was some more interference there with Happy Together in that early part as well. You can see Antino getting a little bit of a squeeze up there as well. Galaxy Patch was all involved in that sort of interference towards the outside as well. Voyage Bubble going straight and true. Chang Glory poking through late. Soul Rush. Beauty Joy staying on. Ramadan's finished well back, but we have an objection here. The numbers provisionally at 2, 1, 5 and 10. We're waiting for some further news to come through. So it's 8 verse 10 8 versus 10 here, so that's Happy Together and Chang Cheng Glory we are hearing through, and it's come up graphically there on screen now. So we'll see if our team in the gallery can get some more replays up.
So that there could be at least a prize money implication there, couldn't there?
It's not going to affect what we have on the board.
No. Well, it could affect punters that maybe are on 4th, but not for the top 3 anyway. So we'll try and queue up another replay there if we can to see what has happened there. Chang Cheng Glory was getting through towards the inside, and of course, Happy Together, he did find some trouble in that early part. It sort of might have been a chain reaction as well.
I'm enjoying the idea of please hold all tickets now, 20 minutes after the race. There'll be a few people scrabbling around on all 4s, I'd imagine.
Yes, I would expect so. But it would be, well, it certainly does affect the first 4 dividend, that's for sure.
First
so
4
Chang Cheng Glory officially unofficially at the moment is in 4th position.
So we're Happy Together. We'll see if we can get up some other views from our great team in the gallery and see what we can see there with the interference there, because it almost seemed a constant. That was the first bit that caught my eye, and the live was a concertina effect, I think, from whatever happened to Happy Together, possibly caused there by Chang Cheng Glory. So that is the objection at this point, 8 versus 10. So concerns 4th placing there. We'd need to see the run on to see where exactly Happy Together finished. I'm just trying to bring it up here to see his official placing, but we could be in a bit of a holding pattern here while this goes on.
No, we need to see some of the...
Winning as well, so I'm sure there's going to be quite a bit of all-ups going into Romantic Warrior. But as you say, 1.3 at the moment. The 2 Japanese, the only other ones in single figures, Liberty Island 7.1 and Testiera at 9.5. But I'm not. We sort of really need to get another picture up, don't we, to see what exactly happened there. And we're Happy Together whether we finished 5th or 6th.
Okay, so we're building up towards the 2024 Hong Kong Cup, as we are in a state of a bit of a holding pattern here, of course, with the objection going on after the mile, with it is Happy Together versus, of course, Chang Cheng Glory there for 4th placing. But Romantic Warrior coming up here, Nick, a race and a half we've got coming up with him looking to win a 3rd Hong Kong Cup. Unheard of.
Yeah, it's lovely in our most recent race. We have a look at Sir Alex Ferguson there, owner of Spirit Dancer, with his great friend Jed Mason, Richard Fahey, Peter Doan. What fun they've had with this horse, Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. But back to Romantic Warrior. The previous race, Voyage Bubble, paid homage, gave a nod to the great Golden Six. You'd beaten him in the race last year, one of the great Hong Kong folk heroes. Well, here's another one, Romantic Warrior. And I mean, to what extent, Jenny, do you think he's chiseled himself into the hearts of the locals even more by taking Hong Kong racing outside these borders?
Look, tremendously. Yeah, look, to take him down to Australia, he was beaten first up down there, he ran 4th, and then to come out and win the Cox Plate. Everyone wants to win the Cox Plate. It's very exclusive. Comes back here, goes over to Japan and wins as well. I mean, what he did last year was phenomenal, and I just think he's had a better preparation coming into today's race as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him. His last win was fabulous as well. Sure, he didn't beat the likes of what we've got here today, but I think he's going to be extremely hard to beat. Nick, what do you think?
Well, I think one of the great unknowns of this race, and what makes it so intriguing, is which Liberty Island will turn up. Will we see the filly that ran so well behind the magnificent Equinox in the Japan Cup last year, and prior to that had looked so good? Or will we see the one that was rather dull, beige, listless on her comeback run off a long absence? And of course, she'd been to Dubai, run there, didn't get the best of rides, didn't get the best of runs, been off for a long time. Now she steps forward from that. She's good enough in receipt of the gender allowance to give Romantic Warrior a proper race, but it's a big if.
Well, yeah, look, let's hope we do see the best of her, because she was an extraordinary filly in her early days as well. So I'd love to see her back at her absolute best. And she did have an excuse last time. Definitely. She did cover some ground.
What about Tastiera, the Japanese colt coming into this race? He brings some great form lines in. Dojuice, of course, a now Japan Cup winner, but of course he's a Japanese Derby winner. There's a lot of quality about him. We're back 5 minutes for races 8, 9 and 10, by the way. But he's got a lot of quality about him, Tastiera.
Solid sort of horse, Tastiera. I'd just be a little bit wary of taking Dojuice form literally.
Change of placing. So 4 has been promoted here from the previous race. We're just getting that information on the semaphore board now. 2, 1, 5 and 4 are those new numbers after the mile here. So we're just looking back to see the exact permutations of that. It has been sustained. So Beauty Eternal now gets 4th.
Okay, well, we'll need to look at that. It was 10 against 8, wasn't it?
Yes, so as a consequence of that, Beauty Eternal is now 4th placed in the Hong Kong Mile. So they've picked up some prize money there. We haven't seen a replay, but 2, 1, 5 and 4. So that was probably ongoing while the presentation was happening, but a change of numbers there. So 2, 1, 5 and 4 will have some confirmed dividends for you shortly. The Northern Hemisphere Raiders in this upcoming race, and what do we make of their chances here? Spirit Dancer, of course, over to Bahrain. Can he measure up here? Of course, he's been very good in Bahrain a couple of years now.
If you'd said to somebody 2 years ago, Spirit Dancer is going to come here with a big chance against a horse like Romantic Warrior in the Hong Kong Cup, they'd think that you needed checking. But in truth, what he's done, right-handed track in Bahrain as well, not dissimilar to this, with a devastating late burst of speed, has been quite striking. Exquisitely trained by Richard Fahey as well, using a warm-up run at Newmarket, put him right for that, winning for the 2nd consecutive year, but in a much faster time this time round, suggesting he might even be a better horse now in his reasonably advancing years than he was last year. But you'll see him in a minute, Jenny. He's not an insubstantial horse.
Okay.
You know, he's got plenty about him.
Okay, well,
and of course he won in Saudi Arabia as well, an even better race.
Yes, for sure. So hopefully he, can give Romantic Warrior a bit of a challenge here. I mean, it's going to be a massive challenge. There is no doubt about that.
You talk about European horses who could have an impact on the race, even if they don't have an impact in the finish. And the 2 Aidan O'Brien fillies down the bottom, Content and Wingspan, 2 young fillies. They're very interesting here because I'm pretty sure Wingspan's going to drive forward under Wayne Lorden from an inside berth and might be the one that messes Romantic Warrior around a little bit on the toward the front end. I know I'm saying Romantic Warrior wants to lead under McDonald, but I don't think he'll want to be too far away, and I think Wingspan will be right there alongside him.
Can you think those 3-year-old fillies can measure up? I've looked at the body weights. There's nothing of them. They're only just over 900 pounds.
They get all the allowances. They're classy enough to run well. Content's a Group 1 winner. Wingspan's a Group 1 runner-up. She's improving. It's a stretch, but I certainly think Wingspan can drag herself a fair way into the race, and Content will be happier back at 1.25 miles today, I think, because it'll enable her to settle. She's quite a keen filly. She can be a little bit rank in the early stages of her races, as she was when she won the Yorkshire Oaks.
By the way, they have weighed in for race number 7. Those dividends are now for collection. There might be a few trawling through rubbish bins for tickets, but 2, 1, 5 and 4, and there are the times on screen, 1:34.34. Can I ask you, Nick, about the Foxes? Change of tactics last time out. They led. Dubai got into all sorts of trouble in that race. He won. We'll come to him shortly, in fact. But Romantic Warrior here, Jenny, on screen now. International rating of 122. James McDonald and Danny Shaw.
A 16-time winner, this horse. What a horse he's been here, and plenty of fans in the crowd here this afternoon to have a look at this fella. He looks fantastic. Gee, he's been beautifully produced from the Danny Shum yard. Beautiful, healthy coat. Just nice and eager with his handlers here in a good way, walking out nice and freely. Looks terrific, getting stronger as he's getting older as well. He looks very, very well.
There's owner Peter Lau, and it's really his great sportsmanship that has enabled this horse to do what he's done. And
he's got some ambitious plans.
Yeah, he has. They're going to go to the Middle East, where they might run into this horse again, Spirit Dancer. I wonder if they'll have a crack at the Saudi Cup this time with Spirit Dancer. He won the big turf race there last year, the Neom Turf Cup, 2 editions of the Bahrain International. What has he got in his favour? Well, he's got a rapier turn of foot. Don't expect him to be played until late in the piece, and Ashin, or his rider, knows him so well. He comes here looking, I think, in great condition given his travels, Jenny.
Yeah, look, he's been clipped out, obviously, but he's quite keen and eager here in the parade. He looks particularly fit. He's got a really good, strong chest and shoulder on him as well. He's about your average height or just under that, but I like the way he goes about his business here. He's walking out nice and freely, and he's strong, so he's good.
Yeah, just one final point about him. He had a little colic in Bahrain, which meant he came straight from there to here rather than going back to England first. So he's avoided a few air miles. They're straight, Aaron.
And he was a bit unlucky in this race last year, Regina. He ran 4th. He's now with Ricky Yu, of course.
Well, it's a big task for Straight Aaron, but boy, he looks well. Ricky Yu's got him in these days. He's had a few trainers and he's walking out nice and freely. He's got stronger. He's just great frame of mind by the looks of things, and he looks really healthy. So a good run from him is not going to shock. I definitely have to consider him on looks.
This is a good, solid pro, this horse, Tastiera. Good walk on him as well. Damien Lane takes the ride, and that form with Doe Juice looks better in light of Doe Juice's subsequent victories recently, Jenny.
Yeah, look, he took a little while to warm up in his last race, but he did run his second and he was quite strong on the line. He's not overly big, but he has got plenty of scope. He's beautifully behaved, got the head down and walking out nice and freely, looks very fit. So he's there with the place chance for me.
Damien Lane's had so much success with the Japanese. Khalif here for Carlos and Jan Lerner. Of course, Jan was once a jockey here in Hong Kong about 20-odd years ago, and he won going back 3 runs ago with Genic Group 1 level in Germany.
Yeah, this horse has been in here a little while. He's quite tall. It does look very athletic, looks healthy in the coat, does appear to be walking out well, quite eager with his handlers as well, but in a good way. So nice and fit, can't really knock the way Caliph presents here, so I'll leave him there with a place chance as well.
Having a look here at Nimble Nimbus. Andrea Razzani riding this one for Ricky Yu. A pretty solid performer, but I'd be a little bit surprised, Jenny, if he was up to winning this today.
Well, he's been a bit of a quiet achiever along the way, particularly with prize money. He is a horse that can often get a little bit toey and tense and warm in the parade. He's pretty good here today in that respect, so a lot better from him. He's strong. He always carries that little bit of weight around the midsection, but he's walking out nice and freely. This is a good parade from him. He's not bad.
Okay, that is Nimble Nimbus. Of course, he's chased home Romantic Warrior on a few occasions. Now, quickly, Nick, on the Fox. He lit up last time out.
Well,
I can't have him here, surely.
I didn't fancy him at all. Then I spoke to Al Donald, who manages the owner's interest, and he said it's the first time they've had a clear shot at training this horse since his good 3-year-old form. Bad injury earlier in the year. He had a injury to his ilial wing, a fracture there, but he's come back off that confidence-boosting win last time. Listen, he's going to need a career best, and by some way.
Well, he's fluent, there's no doubt about that, so nothing wrong with his action. He's been clipped out, there's a good shine to the part of the coat that's left. He does carry a little bit of weight around the midsection, but he's sort of built like that, so I think he looks quite well, and I like his fluency.
This is my Smoky for the race for a top 3 position, or top 4. I can't win, obviously, but I think, Jenny, he trialled on Tuesday morning, quiet trial. David Hall's got this horse going all right at the moment.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit on the basic side, the trial, but he's a lovely looking horse encountered, always has been. He's very strong. He seems to be walking out freely enough. His attitude's always been good, so no changes there either. Presents well, if you like him, Tom. I'm not going to knock him. I can't. He looks good.
Here's the filly. Yuga Kawada has spoken so warmly of Liberty Island. Jockey's won this race before, but he said this one's a different kind of great. Well, if she's as good as he says she still is, then she'll give Romantic Warrior something to think about.
Certainly, yeah. Look, covered a bit of ground first up and had a genuine excuse. I'm just waiting to lay eyes on her for the very first time. I'm looking forward to seeing her because I've watched a number of her races. She is bandaged on all 4 legs. She is as fit as she could possibly be. Very good attitude. Does walk out nice and cleanly. Looks healthy. There is nothing wrong with her. She's as fit as she can be. So, yeah, maybe if we see the very best of her, she might be able to give the champ a bit of a run for his money.
Yeah, she looks in good order. Content, and now Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore, the earplugs have gone in as they normally have with this horse in the past, Jenny.
Yeah, now Content, not overly big. Let me see, weighing in at 903 pounds, so not much of a Content, the 3-year-old filly. Another one that's been clipped out. Most of these Europeans do that when they get here. She looks so fit because there's not much of her, but she does walk out okay. She's quite keen. She's not too hot and bothered. She's okay. She just lacks a little bit of overall strength.
And there's Wingspan, the stable companion, Jenny, and Romantic Warrior's walking around right behind her. You can virtually fit her underneath him.
Yeah, exactly. So she's another one that only weighs in at 910 pounds, clipped, just a little bit tense in the parade, and as far as type goes, I suppose a little plainer than a few of the others, whoops, but looking, because another one that doesn't carry any excess condition, so looks fit, so I can't knock her on that front.
Both of Aiden's runners are at over 50 to 1 in the market, 52s and 57s. We'll quickly head over to Nick Child, who's standing by with a very, very special guest.
Yes, thank you very much, Tom. Sir Alex Ferguson has very kindly joined me here to chat about his horse, owner breeder, of course, of Spirit Dancer. Sir Alex, great to see you here, and it must be a real thrill to have a runner on International Day.
Absolutely. I must admit, this is a fantastic venue. I didn't expect this. You watch it racing on television, you don't see this. It's marvellous, it's really wonderful.
You were just telling me a few moments ago that you were here many years ago, of course, when football was your number one sport, which I'm sure it probably still is, but now very much submerged in racing. What a day this. I mean, you've been to some big days. How does this compare?
Well, I think it's, I'm surprised, I'm taken aback by the actual venue and the atmosphere of what we're seeing at the moment, because you watch the racing on television, you don't see this. You see the races, that's all, but I think it's wonderful, I really do.
Let's talk about your horse, Spirit Dancer. I mean, you've bred this horse. He's by the great Frankel. He won his last race out in Bahrain. He looked very impressive. I mean, he's a special horse for you, isn't he?
Fantastic. And he got injured last January in Dubai, and it was out for 8 months. It had some treatment on it, a stem cell, and his first race was back in 19th October, and it was just a comeback race. But the performance in Bahrain after that was phenomenal, fantastic.
It certainly was very good. So Alex, I know you've got to go and get to your vantage point to watch the race, but pleasure to chat to you, pleasure to have you here, and very best of luck.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you, Nick, and a great treat to have Sir Alex Ferguson with us here this afternoon at Sharton. Jenny, the Cup upcoming, the fourth and final of the Group 1s. Who's in the top four?
Well, I think Danny Schum's done a fantastic job with Romantic Warrior. Gee, looks well. I think he's going to be extremely hard to beat. On form he should be, and on looks he should be too. I thought next best was number 3, Straight Aaron, another local horse. That's as good as I've ever seen him, Straight Aaron. So hopefully he can run a PB. Next best, I thought Liberty Island. She looks fantastic. I couldn't fault her. She's as fit as she could be. And I thought number 2, Spirit Dancer. Strong-chested horse, about your average height, walked out nice and fluently, looks really fit and healthy, so he made it in. I've gone 1, 3, 9 and 2.
Thank you, Jenny. 1, 3, 9 and 2. Upstairs to you, Mark, as runners parade in front of the stands here. 2,000-metre gate right in front of a packed house here at Sharton to hopefully see Romantic Warrior prevail for Hong Kong, China.
He's the one to beat, Tom. He's done it here, he's done it there. Everywhere he goes, he wins, and he's playing at home. He's looking for his 3rd Hong Kong Cup, and from barrier number 1, he's going to be awfully hard to beat. We know he's 99.9% going to beat all of the locals home. It's just the internationals and whether they can push him. Liberty Island's going in. First run in 7 months. It was a tough performance. Hadn't raced for a while. Tough run. She was entitled to get tired. We know she's so much better than that. Fortastera goes in for 3rd. Another one of the Japanese horses coming out of a 2nd to Dejuice in the Tenno Show Autumn. Dejuice winning the Japan Cup at the race after that. And we'll put one of the locals in to fill a top 4 spot, Nimble Nimbus, because he rarely goes a bad race. He's not up to the level of Romantic Warrior, but thought he could sneak perhaps a 4th placing here. No surprise, Paul. 1, 9, 4 and 6.
Yeah, same test as me. 1, 9, 4. Romantic Warrior, of course. The 2 Japanese, Liberty Island and Testera. Testera will put herself right in the race. And the pacemaker in the race is going to be Wingspan, I believe, at 59 and 6.3. It's going to be there for a long period of the race. She is Group 1 placed. 1, 9, 4 and 11 for me.
Yeah, no surprises here, 1, 9, 4 as well. But I'm actually going to throw in Encountered off his last couple of runs. I think he was a horse that had gone off the boil for a long time. He's with a new trainer, David Hall, I think, has got him going okay. I think he might be able to run a cheeky top 4 spot here at a decent price as well. He's around $5.50 for a place. 1, 9, 4 and 8. Nick Child's numbers are 1, 9, 11 and 2. Jenny, and you also had number 1 on top.
Yeah, it's hard not to. Romantic Warrior, so I'm sure the crowd's going to really enjoy this if he draws away here. Romantic Warrior, he looks an absolute treat. He goes on top. of Straight Aaron, number 3, so he might provide a little bit of value. He's 54-1 as it stands at the moment. Thought he paraded as good as I've seen him. Next best, Liberty Island. She's a really fit, athletic-looking horse. Conducted herself well. Behaviour was very good. Bandaged on all 4 legs, looking good. And I thought number 2 was next best, and that is Spirit Dancer. Strong-chested horse, coming off a win in Bahrain, the international trophy he won over there. So we'll see if he can do the same sort of thing here. He does look well, strong, as I said, strong in the chest, walks out well, behaviour was good. So in order, I've gone 1, 3, 9 and 2. What do you like, Nick?
I find it very hard to see past Romantic Warrior. I'm using no imagination, of course, but his prep coming in has been just about perfect. There's no suggestion that he's regressing in any sense. And I think he's fundamentally a faster horse than Liberty Island as well over this distance. We know she gets a bit further. This is right on for him. We saw when he went to Japan himself and won the Yasuda Kinnan cutting back that he was a horse who was tactical, and you know, that's the beauty. It's a bit like Voyage Bubble in the previous race. James McDonald can pretty much pop him where he wants to pop him.
That is so true, yes. Look, he appears an easy horse to ride. James just loves this horse. I'm expecting him to be... I'm expecting him to win, but I'd be disappointed if he didn't, actually.
And you've really just got to take your hat off to Danny Shum, how he has prepared this horse race after race after race. This time last year, he had basically trained him out of quarantine here at Sharton when he came back from the Cox Plate. He's here today for his second up run. His first up run was electric, and you've also got to take your hats off to Peter Lau, because he's not afraid to travel this horse. They've got some ambitious plans, really ambitious.
It looks as though the Saudi Cup will definitely happen. So that's a mile and a furlong, mile and 9 furlongs round, 1 turn on dirt. But it's a slightly more turf-like dirt than the dirt in Dubai, which is a more American-style surface. They want to go to Dubai as well with them. That's a mile and a quarter on the dirt. And there's the Maktoum Challenge. They could start there before Saudi, but Peter Lau suggesting the other day that that was less likely. I think he and Danny Shum have had some quite intense discussions about this plan, and James McDonald will have a view as well, but nothing if not ambitious.
Well, definitely, yeah. Look, I mean, on the dirt, it's a whole different ball game, isn't it? But he's got that much talent. Who's to say that he won't be even better on that? So we'll have to wait and see.
What's going on in the market, Paul, and the play? Where are the exotics going through to maybe steer us in, who punters are teaming up with the Romantic Warrior here?
Well, it's 1.2 now about Romantic Warrior, so he's actually drifted, believe it or not, from 1.1 out to 1.2. Look, there's nothing much through the exotics. There's a couple going through the 9 Liberty Island with a couple at a big price, the 3 and the 6. So that's Nimble Nimbus and also Straight Aaron, and also the 5 and 6, which is Caliph and Nimble Nimbus. But they're massive prices. So nothing, he's really sort of stifling the market, is Romantic Warrior, but he's still a 1.2 clear favourite. Liberty Island's the only other one now in single figures into 7.7 as Testiera now drifts to 10.
There is on-screen horse number 2. We're walking around behind the gates, Spirit Dancer. He's looking pretty relaxed around in front of what is a big crowd here today, Nick.
Yeah, he's a bit of an old pro, this horse now, Spirit Dancer, and as he's behaving nicely, Liberty Island's just getting a little bit stirred up before the gate. I was in the thick of that earlier on, Tom, and I thought it felt busier than the last couple of years. I don't know, I haven't seen the number, but it was, as you can see, pretty intense.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. There's been a lot of people around the bowl and the parade ring today, and somewhat Jeanette sort of felt a bit like mini Australia here over the last couple of days walking around. But it's great to have the international visitors in town and a really strong international contingent today here on course, running and wanting to win some of this Hong Kong 126 million. Yeah,
look, we've had some fantastic competitors here, no doubt about it. And as you say, so many visitors in town. And Nick, you've done a number of functions throughout the week as well. You're probably sick of the Australian accents, are you?
And I spent a few days in Melbourne this spring as well. So no, of course not. I love hanging out with you guys. You know that. But it is great to see strong Australian participation here. You hope that it will presage more horses coming up next year and make this a genuine international competition, be able to compare Northern and Southern Hemisphere form and see how all the nations are getting on against one another. Make the world a smaller place, that's what we're trying to do.
Absolutely. 5.5 money coming for number 11, Wingspan, down towards the bottom. This for international Group 1 racing, this is the last roll of the dice for the Japanese runners now.
It is. They've got a very strong hand here, haven't they, with Tastiera, Liberty Island. Tastiera is dead solid. It's just going to run well.
Here is, of course, on screen, Spirit Dancer still looking pretty relaxed around at the start. What about Caliph? Can he measure up here against some of these, or is it a stiff uphill task for him?
He's trained by very capable trainers, Carlos and Jan Lerner. They've had another good year, been ambitiously campaigned, but he's twice finished behind Spirit Dancer, both in Saudi and in Bahrain, and with no obvious excuses. He's run really well both times, but I just don't really see how you can fashion a more cogent case for him than you can for the horse in shot there.
Straight in. Sorry, Judy.
I was just going to say, Romantic Warrior behind the gates. He looks nice and relaxed, doesn't he? He's you know, behaving himself beautifully there, and you could see Liberty Island just a little bit on her toes, but that might just be very normal for her as well.
You gave Straight Aaron a good report, Jenny, because he was in good form coming into this race last year, but he hasn't been in that same form. He obviously left the barn of Casper Founds. He's gone to Ricky Yu. But there were maybe a couple of signs I thought that he might have been sort of started to come back maybe, but I think he's still a long way off where he was this point last season.
Yeah, look, he's had those 2 runs back in this campaign, and he's been looking well on each occasion.
Group 1 on HKIR Day 2024, the Turf World Championships. There is Peter Lau sitting in the stands in anticipation here of Romantic Warrior potentially winning a 3rd historic Hong Kong Cup with Mark McNamara.
He's gone in, Tom. Peter Lau, Sir Alex Ferguson, both trackside. Romantic Warrior, we're underway in the Cup, and he jumped well, Romantic Warrior, and he's going to lead them down past the winning post again. Wingspan's come up alongside to have a look for the lead. Encountered Tastiera wide going into the first turn. Nimble Nimbus down on the rail from Straight Aaron, and then came around that first turn on the fence then is Caliph, followed then in between horses by Liberty Island. And further back in the race is the Foxes, and last of all is Content running up the side, and the race is being led here by Wingspan. As expected, she's taken over to lead by half a length over Tastiera running second. Encountered 3rd, Romantic Warrior 4th, and McDonald's off the rail, not risk getting pocketed, and he's taken the great horse 1 off the fence. Spirit Dancer wider, and then came Nimble Nimbus and Straight Aaron. A length to Liberty Island from Caliph and the Foxes, and last of all is Content. Her stablemate Wingspan, she leads by 2 at a good tempo. Tastiera is running second, Encountered run of the race 3rd, and Romantic Warrior 4th at the 1,000-metre mark. Nimble Nimbus on the fence. Spirit Dancer 3 wide with Straight Aaron splitting horses. Next is Liberty Island from Caliph, the Foxes, and last of all to turn off the back straight is Content. Wingspan leads, 7:50 to go in the Cup. He's out by 2. Tastiera for Japan second, Encountered 3rd. 4th Romantic Warrior, Spirit Dancer next. Then came Nimble Nimbus and Straight Aaron. A length to Liberty Island from Caliph and the Foxes. And a length away last of all is Content. 500 metres to go. And leading for home Wingspan. Tastiera, Romantic Warrior. He's come up outside the 3 from Spirit Dancer, and Liberty Island wider out. Tastiera leads. Romantic Warrior, he's a neck on the outside. Liberty Island 3 lengths away. Romantic Warrior, he's taken over. 1 length Tastiera. Liberty Island continues to run on, but it's the Warrior, Romantic Warrior, 2 on Liberty Island. It's history at Sha Tin. 3 cups. Romantic Warrior beat home Liberty Island and Tastiera. The Foxes, Straight Aaron. Then came Content and Caliph and Nimble Nimbus and Wingspan and Spirit Dancer and Encountered. Romantic Warrior. James McDonald at 1.1 and 1. Peter Lau has himself a wonder horse. Danny Shum is a wonder trainer. He's peaked him again. He can run anywhere. He peaks him. Liberty Island's run on well for second. Tastiera's run 3rd, but there is just no beating this horse. It's close for 4th between the Foxes and Straight Aaron. There's not much in that, but it's all about history at Sha Tin. Romantic Warrior. James had a look around at the Japanese runners, and they just can't go with him. No one can go with him. Anywhere he goes, what an animal, what a team. Our Warrior, Jay McDonald, and his trainer, C.S. Shum. James is about to head back to join Nick. Yep. He's gone around to the back straight, Romantic Warrior. He's pulled up by the 1400 metre mark, 2 minutes .51. They're inside standard. Wingspan set the tempo. She faded. Romantic Warrior joined in. Tastira went with him briefly, but that's all it was. Liberty Island's run on. She was never, ever going to get him. So many people came to see two horses today. Ka Ying Rising, he's delivered. And then there's this guy, Mr. Perfection himself, Romantic Warrior. He's still coming back towards you, Nick. He could have gone around again and still beaten them. What an animal. And the man on board, what a rider.
He certainly is, yes. Quite the horse, quite the rider. I think the perfect combination. It's written in the stars. James McDonald, history at Sha Tin. That must have felt very, very special.
Unbelievable. So goddamn proud of this horse. Keep going, please. He's just been a remarkable effort by Danny and his team. And the Japanese put it to him, but with no luck.
We're just running out of superlatives, aren't we, really?
He's the best.
He is indeed.
Forget the rest. He's the best.
He is indeed. And just on today's performance, he felt as good as he's ever felt?
Yeah, he has been flying, and mate, anyone could ride him. He's that easy, but I'm the lucky one. Horse of a lifetime. This was our moment to create history, and it dead set felt like I was lining up for the winning kick for the All Blacks. It was that pinch me moment.
James, let's leave it there.
Yeah.
Very well done.
Thank you.
He's gone in, Tom Peter Lau, Sir Alex Ferguson, both trackside. Romantic Warrior, we're underway in the Cup, and he jumped well, Romantic Warrior, and he's going to lead them down past the winning post again. Wingspan's come up alongside to have a look for the lead. Encountered Tastira wide going into the first turn. Nimble Nimbus down on the rail from Straight Aaron, and then came around that first turn on the fence then is Caliph, followed then in between horses by Liberty Island. And further back in the race is the Foxes, and last of all is Content running up the side, and the race is being led here by Wingspan. As expected, she's taken over to lead by half a length over Tastira running second. Encountered third, Romantic Warrior fourth, and McDonald's off the rail, not risk getting pocketed, and he's taken the great horse one off the fence. Spirit Dancer wider, and then came Nimble Nimbus and Straight Aaron. A length to Liberty Island from Caliph and the Foxes, and last of all is Content. Her stablemate Wingspan, she leads by 2 at a good tempo. Tastira is running second, Encountered run of the race third, and Romantic Warrior fourth at the 1,000 metre mark. Nimble Nimbus on the fence. Spirit Dancer 3 wide with Straight Aaron splitting horses. Next is Liberty Island from Caliph, the Foxes, and last of all to turn off the back straight is Content. Wingspan lead, 7:50 to go in the Cup. He's out by 2. Tastira for Japan second, Encountered third. Fourth, Romantic Warrior. Spirit Dancer next. Then came Nimble Nimbus and Straight Aaron. A length to Liberty Island from Caliph and the Foxes. And a length away last of all is Content. 500 metres to go. And leading for home Wingspan. Tastira, Romantic Warrior. He's come up outside the 3 from Spirit Dancer and Liberty Island wider out. Tastira leads. Romantic Warrior. He's a neck on the outside. Liberty Island 3 lengths away. Romantic Warrior. He's taken over. 1 length Tastira. Liberty Island continues to run on, but it's the Warrior, Romantic Warrior, 2 on Liberty Island. It's history at Sha Tin. 3 Cups, Romantic Warrior.
Just so easy over the final stages. Look, there's the Foxes.
Wow.
He has run 4th in the end ahead of Straight.
It's a huge run.
Oh, ahead of Straight Aaron there, so he's run a career best here this afternoon, has the Foxes. 1:09.4 and 7, a length and a half. We'll come to you first, Ginny, on an unbelievable performance again from, as James said, the horse of a lifetime.
Absolutely, and what a superb ride as well. From gate number 1, it was obvious in the early stages he didn't want to stay there, and he wanted to just make sure that he was 1 off the fence so that he wasn't going to get trapped. It wouldn't have mattered anyway. He's still going to bullock through and win the way that he won. Great winning margin once again. And what more can you say about this horse, Nick? He's just sensational, isn't he?
He is. He looked better than he's ever looked today. He's run as well as he's ever run. He's had the perfect preparation. He's been exquisitely trained by Danny Shum. They've got big plans, as we were saying beforehand. And James McDonald always seems to have so much time on this horse. You know, yes, Wayne Lorden, if you want to go to the front and get Wingspan to go as fast as she can possibly go for the entire race, then you go ahead and do that. And I'll just sit, bide my time. As you said, come one off the fence, didn't want to be stuck behind her. She wasn't going to tow him far enough into the race. Perfectly angled out. Had the two Japanese horses chasing him. Tastiera, Liberty Island, they're good horses. They're classy horses, the filly especially, but they were never going to get to her. And some people don't like jockeys celebrating prematurely. The Australian stewards quite often take a dim view of it.
They do.
But frankly, I love it. James McDonald's bit of theatre about him, a lot of charisma, and yeah, he's a humble man as well as a self-confident one in the saddle. So I don't mind seeing a little bit of something in the finish from him. I think people warm to it, people respond to it.
I agree.
He's someone who, you know, he loves doing what he's doing, and that is enthusiasm is infectious.
Absolutely, and so you can hear the quiver in his voice when Nick was speaking to him before. Nick, not bad from the boy from Cambridge.
Yeah, no, he did very well, didn't he? And returns 11 and 10-10, 16 for second. Japanese Liberty Island, the Japanese third as well at 21.50 with Tastiera. Vanilla 1 and 9, 26. The forecast 34. The trio 149.42 and the TS 194 100. And he's done very well indeed. And look, he just loves this horse, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. You just, as I said, you can just hear it in his voice, and almost any interview, you just have to say "romantic warrior," and you can
see
feel you can feel the emotion come out of what this horse means to him. He's ridden some exceptional animals, Animo, very elegant, but this horse has to top the lot.
And of course, it's cemented his own love affair and affinity with Hong Kong. And where might that lead us in years to come? We always assume at some point that it is going to become a more regular part of James McDonald's life being here.
I think it's not too far away, actually. No. I think in the very near future we might see Hong Kong a home for James McDonald. I don't know anything, but I'm guessing that that's a huge possibility. But look, he can come and go as it happens at the moment. He can ride the best horses in Australia, the best horses here, and this one is our best horse here. He is just brilliant. Absolutely. And look at the intelligent head on him. He's just such a beautiful horse. Of course, he was one of the ISGs. He's now a 6-year-old gelding. And Danny Sherman, the team, have just done such a brilliant job with him.
What do you say about the two Japanese? They really tried hard. Tastiera stayed on well, and he was right there in the thick of things. But Liberty Island's come from a long way back. So that was good to see her come off what was a below par run last start.
You can talk through the race as often as you want. The truth of it is, Romantic Warrior is a faster horse than Liberty Island. And he's got faster as he's got older as well. And he's by acclamation, who died not long ago, who's been a
last week or so,
really influential stallion. And he's had some wonderful stallion sons as well. I think he came here for the sprint when Gerald Cottrell had him all the way back in the day. But he was a really good sprinter. Obviously, there's little stamina in the dam side as well. And Street Cry appearing in another pedigree of a legendary horse.
You would have seen his trial on the dirt as well, no doubt, off the video. When it comes to Saudi on a different type of dirt surface compared to what we have here in Sha Tin, he quickened on it well. You don't see any trouble going for a dirt surface.
Well, the point is he breaks well, which is obviously crucial on dirt, and he can travel away, which is important. Yeah, clearly he should be a better horse on turf than he is on dirt, given his pedigree, but he's got to a stage in his career now where he's experienced enough to maybe handle that. I doubt he'd want to be sitting in a load of kickback, but as I say, he's handy and he's tactical. So I think the Saudi Cup, if you're going to do one of those races, it's probably the right one to try him in, because that dirt there is just a little...
各位來賓，浪琴香港盃頒獎儀式現在開始。
Ladies and gentlemen, the Longines Hong Kong Cup Trophy Presentation Ceremony will now commence.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just witnessed history in the making at Sha Tin Racecourse. Congratulations to the winning horse, Romantic Warrior, representing Hong Kong, China, winning the Longines Hong Kong Cup for the third consecutive time. 浪琴香港盃嘅得主已經係出爐啦，我哋亦都見證住歷史性嘅一刻，係由嚟自中國香港嘅浪漫勇士勝出，恭喜晒！ Now I'd like to invite the Honourable Chuck Wing-hing, Deputy Chief Secretary for Administration of the Government of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, to present the Longines Hong Kong Cup Trophy and a bronze horse statuette to our winning owner, Mr. Peter Lau Pak Fai of Romantic Warrior. Let's look to the front for a photo. Romantic Warrior is also our Horse of the Year. Wow！ 我哋香港特別行政區政府政務司副司長卓永慶先生啱啱就係將我哋嘅主杯頒發咗俾我哋浪漫勇士嘅馬主劉柏輝先生。Now let's invite the Honourable Mr. Chuck to present the bronze horse statuette. 跟住我哋有請副司長係將駿馬銅像係頒發俾我哋勝出頭馬嘅馬主㗎。咁我哋有唐小姐代表接受嘅。Let's look to the front for a photo. 我哋望望前方影張相先，俾多啲掌聲。我哋見證住呢一個非常之歷史性嘅一刻。Mr. Chuck, please also present the bronze horse statuette to our winning trainer, Danny Shum. 我哋繼續有請副司長將駿馬銅像頒發俾我哋勝出頭馬嘅練馬師沈集成。And also, Mr. Chuck, please present a bronze horse statuette to our winning jockey, James McDonald. He is on a roll. 同埋我哋勝出騎師麥道朗㗎，恭喜晒 ！Thank you so much, Mr. Chuck. Next, I'd like to invite Mr. Matthias Breschen, CEO Longines, to present Longines Conquest Watches to our winning owner. Let's invite our representative, Miss Ngai, to receive this beautiful watch. 浪琴嘅行政總監 Matthias Breschen 先生咧，就啱啱將一隻浪琴錶致送咗俾我哋勝出頭馬嘅馬主代表啦。And of course to our winning trainer， 我哋勝出嘅練馬師。And of course our winning jockey， 同埋我哋勝出嘅騎師。James McDonald. Thank you so much, Mr. Breschen. Guests, I'd like to invite you all to remain where you are for a group photo. 我哋有請大家留一留步，影張合照。Ladies and gentlemen, let's all look to the front. Full house today here at Sha Tin Racecourse to witness this special moment. 我哋望望前方影張合照㗎。Huge congratulations once again to Romantic Warrior. Please remain where you are. 我哋各位留一留步。Now please remain standing and remove your hats for the national anthem of winning country China. 跟住落嚟，我哋有請香港警察樂隊為我哋演奏所勝出頭馬代表嘅國家嘅國歌，中國嘅國歌。我哋有請各位起立並除帽。現在奏國歌。 Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the trophy presentation, and the 2024 Longines Hong Kong International Races is about to finish, and what a day it has been for Hong Kong, winning 3 of the 4 international races here today. There'll be a closing ceremony and the pyrotechnics show after the last race, so don't miss it. Again, thank you for joining us here today, and we look forward to seeing you again next year. 2024年浪琴香港盃嘅頒獎儀式已經圓滿結束，本年度嘅浪琴香港國際賽事亦都接近尾聲。我哋尾場之後呢，就會有閉幕同埋煙火匯演，大家唔好錯過。喺呢度再次感謝大家嘅支持同埋參與，我哋明年再見，拜拜。
Noticing that Romantic Warrior, and I don't want to reduce this to numbers because it's about so much more than that, is officially about the 11th best horse in the world on handicappers ratings, on international handicappers ratings. If there are 10 racehorses in the world better than this horse, I am frankly a Dutchman. His body of work is insanely impressive, and I really hope he shows yet another string to his bow in the Middle East, and then the Western Hemisphere can start waking up to him, frankly.
I think
they
well
need
said,
to.
yes. I totally agree with you there, Nick.
And he was just in the perfect position there, and it was before the turn into the back straight that James wanted to be off the fence. He didn't want to be in behind Encountered. He in behind Tastiera here. You can see poor old on the outside there, a Spirit Dancer caught 3 wide, no cover.
That was a horrible opening to the race for Spirit Dancer, who got kind of slid out wide, and Ashino had to improvise, and he ended up then having to sit further forward than ideally he likes to sit. That's about as fast as Wingspan can go in front. I know you'll look at the fractions and say, well, hang on a minute, mile and a quarter race, they're not going that far. I think she's flat out at this distance being there, and I actually think she's run quite well in the circumstances.
Yeah, she's up front here, dictating Tastiera not far away, and Counter Romantic Warrior just in that perfect spot, 1 back, 1 out compared to on the outside Spirit Dancer. Look where the Foxes is and where he runs on from the back there. He's near last at the 600.
Yeah, you can see he's nearly flat out here as the race begins to unwind, but he's run on really well, fully justifying the decision to come here, which looked ambitious to say the least. But he's right back to his good 3-year-old form here, defeat of White Birch in the Dante Stakes at York last year. And don't forget he beat Dubai Honour in the Churchill Stakes last time. So both those horses who've been specially trained for Hong Kong have run their best races today. As I said, you can't throw horses into this meeting as an afterthought. You have to work backwards from this day.
James McDonald looking over the shoulder there to see where they are. Liberty Island down the outside, Tastiera, and the Foxes knocking off Straight Aaron there for the 4th prize. But here we go, the HKIR 2024. The 4 Group 1s have been run and won. Giavolotto, Ka Ying Rising for Hong Kong, China, Voyage Bubble also for Hong Kong, China, and Romantic Warrior. Your highlight today, Nick?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, Romantic Warrior was brilliant. McDonald was superb on Voyage Bubble and Romantic Warrior. Ka Ying Rising got it done in spite of himself, I think, a little bit today. I'm still excited about what he can do next year. And from a personal point of view, it was lovely to see the first British-trained winner of the race, even though ridden by an Irishman, trained by an Italian. First officially British-trained winner of a race here in 12 years.
As per normal, you've done a great work all week. We appreciate your time on the broadcast.